Joining us now, Nik Nanos, and we're going to talk about the current political landscape in Canada. He's the founder and chief data scientist at Nanos Research. Nick, how are you, sir?
Fine, thanks. How you doing, Roger?
Not too bad. Been quite an interesting week, I think, to say the least, shall we? Start with that. Talk about polls and ballot numbers. How are they looking compared to other past polls?
You know, it's interesting. You know, we've talked about how the Conservatives have been in the driver's seat, and they remain in the driver's seat. They're at the 39%. You know, what's interesting is that we saw a little bit of movement in the last week of Nanos tracking. The Conservatives are down 3 percentage points to 39%. No change for the Liberals. NDP up 3 points. How about this for a hypothesis, Roger?
All right, let's hear it.
You know, maybe the Liberals are unpopular, but Pierre Poilievre talking tough about having a snap election, maybe even less popular than the Liberals. So, you know, it's interesting, you know, so this is a little bit of movement. We'll have to see whether this continues. But, you know, for the Conservatives, they're still ahead. But a little bit of negative pressure for the first time in a while on the Conservative numbers, even though they're in majority territory.
I imagine they had to have expected that. To maintain the numbers that they were at is virtually impossible.
Yeah, it's hard. It's kind of like yelling all day long. I know. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I want to hear the rest of this.
No, it's kind of like, you know, maintaining that kind of a particular tone or intensity on a consistent basis is difficult for any politician. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens because let's face it, Roger, with Jagmeet Singh pulling out of the parliamentary arrangement, it's like tick-tock, we're one step closer to having an election. I'm not sure they're going to last until next fall. It'll probably be, the election will probably be sooner than that.
And it'll be interesting to see how voters choose between that, what they think of that idea of breaking that up. So we'll have to see. Let's talk Prime Minister. Trudeau is actually going up.
Yeah, actually, you know, what we have is, you know, still Pierre Poilievre ahead at around 33, Justin Trudeau at 22. But, you know, the fact of the matter is that, you know, for Justin Trudeau, you know, that it's not really up because it's within the margin of error. Which is plus or minus about 3 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. But, you know, I think the key thing is a little bit of negative pressure, still within the margin of error for Pierre Poilievre, but a little bit of negative pressure on Pierre Poilievre. Like maybe he shouldn't be too excited. I know looking at the numbers, I'm not surprised that he's excited and wants to have a federal election, but I'm not sure Canadians want to have a snap election at least.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you wish for sometimes, right? What do Canadians think about the Liberals and NDP working together, not working together? What do they want to see with this?
Yeah, what's interesting about this survey that we did with the Globe and Mail, Roger, is that it was finished like a couple days before the announcement. And I'd like to say I had no inside knowledge about what was going to happen. But it happened to be completed beforehand, and we released it right afterwards. And, you know, check it out. You can see that about 38% of Canadians support the Liberals and NDP continuing to work together. Another, you know, you can see another 16% somewhat support, so about 54%. On the opposition side, you can see 7 and 35% of Canadians somewhat oppose or oppose, so that's about 42. So people more likely to support to one extent or another rather than oppose, except, Roger, if you happen to be in the prairie provinces, you know, like that opposition to them. Yeah. The prairies are hot for an election. You know, that 42% opposition bumps up to almost 6 out of every 10 Canadians that live in the prairie provinces. So why don't we just say this? Most Canadians don't want an election, except if you happen to live in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, for all of our viewers out in those provinces.
Yeah, they kind of those numbers all kind of line up with support for the Liberals and NDP and the Conservatives pretty much, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. You know, because the thing is that the West remains the conservative political base rock in the heartland. And, you know, for those folks, I don't think an election can come too soon because of frustrations over a number of elements, including, you know, the economy, energy, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Nick, thank you as always, sir. Always appreciated.
Take it easy.